Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your monthly forecast. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is for the month of September. You can use it for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. You can watch it before the month or anytime during the month as well. It will give you what you need whenever you're here. So thank you so much for choosing to spend some time with me today. I do appreciate it. I always like to begin with channeled messages, and this is basically me connecting to source and bringing messages from my guides forward. As I was looking at my dreams today, there were two themes that were central to them. One was being able to think ahead, one or two steps ahead of what you're doing right now. And the other one was about leadership. So let's break them down one by one. As I remembered my dreams this morning, there was one that was just out of this world. I felt like I was on a life-size chessboard, and I could see these, it's almost like each one of them had a movie playing or was a projection, and I could look at them from all angles, and I was trying to figure out, what is it? What is it trying to do? How am I involved with this? And at the end of the day, this is just about strategy. But everything was moving. I needed to start to move too. It wasn't going to wait for me. And what a great metaphor for life. All the pieces on the board, it's not like a traditional chess game. They're real time, they're in action, they're moving around, other people are moving, and what you have to do is get in the game and play. And one of the things that's going to be important is to think beyond right here, right now, and also think beyond the next step. A lot of times this happens like when you're younger and you're going to school. You think, I'll get this degree and then that will happen. Well, it's good to think 2 or 3 steps beyond that and think, well, maybe this will help open up this, which will help this, or if this doesn't work, then I've got this in my back pocket. It's good to think beyond an obvious first move, because you never know what the other pieces are going to be doing, what the other players are going to be doing. And in real life, it's not just 2 opponents, or it's not just 2 people. It could be 3, 5, 10 people that are moving together at once. So you need to start to pay attention to the moving pieces and have your own strategy and your own backup plans, plural, like plan B, plan C, etc., together. That's going to help you. And that way, you can always land on your feet. The King of Wands is really good at innovation, looking beyond what has already been done and trying new things. Let's take all of this and pull it together with the next slide. So initiative and leadership are obviously going to be really important here. People may be waiting for your next move, but like I said before, they may be doing their own thing. So this is a time for you to figure out what you want and to basically take the reins and say, with or without the support, with or without the confirmation, affirmation, etc., I need to start making some progress. And it is one step at a time or one roll of the wheel at a time, because what happens is you start to pick up momentum. So my challenge for you this month is to start to create that momentum. Take the first step, write the first email, make the first call, and you're going to start to feel this sense that there's a little bit of a weight that's been lifted off your back because you're feeling like you're making progress. And lo and behold, some things will start to happen on their own, okay? But it does require your follow through. So however you want to do that, even if that means getting someone to come along with you and keep you accountable, like a coach, perfect. Whatever you need to make this happen, that's great. The Chariot actually has 3 players on this. There are 2 horses, or in this case, we have sphinxes, but modern decks, you would have 2 horses and you have someone steering that. It can represent a team, but someone has to lead or kind of get the people motivated. So if you need someone to motivate you, by all means, this is a month to do it. People may need your advice or your leadership as well. So this might be something that interests some of you. Okay, those are the channeled messages. Let me go ahead and focus this overhead camera, and we're going to take a look now at all of the energy coming through in the Celtic Cross. Welcome everybody, it's good to see you. Again, thank you for deciding to spend some time with me today. I do appreciate it. And again, you can use this for your sun, your rising, and for your moon sign. All right, let's get started here. We're going to begin with your catalyst card, which is the storm this month, and the storm is in the reverse state, which is good. It could be that for some of you, the dust is settling, something that was a little bit more, chaotic or a little bit more difficult. It's starting to ease this month. This is so closely connected with the tower that I have to show the traditional cards. So let's look at them in the upright position. You can see this big lightning bolt down the center. Guess what? We've got the lightning bolt on this card as well. We can see also a lot of movement, sometimes a little lack of organization. We can see the same thing happening here. Here's the main difference between the two. You're not being thrown out of the tower. You, much like we saw with the chessboard, you might just be the person that's shaking things up. If we look at the overlay here of all the cards, you can see the necessary change here, death, and then you can see yourself coming through rebirth with this fresh, clean slate, renewal. See, if you will, the storm or the tower as this sort of wave of change. And like a surfer, you can go through it, land on your feet, harness the energy like we saw with the chariot simply by understanding this one simple thing. Whenever an energy like the tower comes through, or in this case, the storm, it's basically coming through to help you clear out something that you were attached to. So it's shaking through the foundations and saying, whatever is meant to stick around will, whatever isn't, I'm going to make you uncomfortable so that you move in this direction and you can see that there is something else. And it's a blessing, but a blessing in disguise. Let's take a look now at the cards in front of us. And what I really love here are your two centermost cards. Your key to success this month is pretty easy. The bottom card is ideas, innovation, and movement, the Princess or the Page of Wands. And on top of it is change. So in order to be able to succeed this month, it's being open to something that isn't what you normally would do. Open to change, open to growth, open to basically being challenged a little bit in your own assumptions. So if somebody comes through this month with an idea, with a proposal, with an opportunity, and the first thing that you do is kind of feel uncomfortable, sit with it for a second and say, you know what? I need to do some research. I don't want to make up my mind today. Can I research it tonight? Can I get back to you? You can't always push back, but when you can push back, do that so that you aren't making an emotional decision, so that you can be practical, so that you can really see it for all that it is. And just like a storm, it can be a little scary when you're going through it initially, but once the sun comes out, things are okay. So give yourself a moment here to allow for that clearing. And then we have change, transformation, movement, something new, something exciting. Death is also rebirth. We just happen to see them both being represented in two different cards here. So is judgment. But in order for something to happen, something needs to be cleared. One door shut, one door opens. So you may be facing the closed door first. That could mean for some of you, you apply to a job, you get denied. You ask someone out, they're not interested. You've been looking forward to something and there's a delay or cancellation. But what you're not seeing is 2 or 3 dominoes down the line, there's something better. There's something that's an upgrade. And it was worth the initial discomfort or disappointment. So keep the faith, keep the focus, and look beyond what's in front of you, very nicely connected to what we were talking about with all the channeled messages. In the deep past, we have the King of Cups in reverse. Simply put, some of you just need to take a time out and say, I need a break, I need a holiday, I need a vacation. You've been dealing with a lot emotionally. It could be something in your family, in a relationship, or you're just feeling in this moment some heavier emotions. There's lots of ways each of us can deal with that. For some of you, it could be artistic. For some of you, you could be reaching out and talking to someone, a therapist, a friend, or a confidant. And for some of you, it's just time, okay? So this is basically saying don't make any major decision until the dust has settled. So if your heart and head are not in a clear space, that's going to be the most important thing, especially when we look at what's just about to come through or has just started to basically manifest for some of you, which is the Six of Cups. This is what it's all about. Many of you are starting to create a really nice firm foundation when it comes to friendships and networking, maybe even clearing some energy out with your family, because the Six of Cups represents all of this. It can be the inner child finally feeling like you've fulfilled the promise or the hope or the dream that that little kid had set out for you. So maybe as a kid, you always wished you could experience one thing or do one thing. Now it's coming to fruition. This can also represent improved relationships with your siblings. It can be an old friend or love interest from the past coming back, and there's a chance to rekindle that flame or fire. And in the case of those of you that are looking for new love, this is one of the best and most auspicious cards that could come up in a spread, because it's someone with whom you have this immediate connection. It feels like you're already family or connected. So if you're open to any level of partnership this month, we have a really great energy that wants to come in. First things first, though, there might be someone or something that's exiting out first. This is the promise of something better. This is also saying you could be connecting with someone karmic here, because Judgment is past life. Six of Cups is past life. The only thing missing here may be, well, actually, we've got it in my hand, is Death or the Star. So we have really good past life energy coming through for you if you're open to that. We'll look a little bit more at that as I go into love in a few moments. But I like what I see here when it comes to expanding your personal network. And I really like the piece for those that are single and happy or maybe retired. This is the inner child coming out to play. So either way you look at this, this is good stuff. This can also be a birth for some of you. Typically a birth of a baby, but like I said, it could be birthing a part of your life that you had really hoped and dreamed about as a child. Let's go ahead and move on now to your crowning card, which is the Seven of Wands. You'll see that here it came through in the reverse state. This is still a really powerful card. Whether upright or reversed, you can always see the energy of needing to push back a little bit. It's even more apparent as we look at the traditional card and you look at his face there. It's like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Well, you're not going to have that happen. You're going to basically communicate what's realistic. So what typically happens when you find yourself in a Seven of Wands situation is you're talented, you're good at juggling a lot, maybe you have a hard time saying no. People know that if they give you something, you'll finish it, even if it means burning the candle at both ends. This month, you're not going to let yourself get into that. You're going to push back a little bit. You have an opportunity to. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you choose to push back, here are some tools that will help you with that. The first thing is to basically talk priorities with people around you. You can say, I think we can agree this is the most important thing. I'm happy to help with that, but in order for me to focus, it would be great if I could get some assistance with this and this. Otherwise, I can't promise that I can finish this. In fact, I'd like to highlight the probability that this is going to have to wait a day or two. Let them know what's realistic. Let them know what's possible. If someone tries to push off their work on you, you can say, I've got a full plate. I wish I could help you out, but I can't. How about checking out with this person? Just redirect. Don't take on more than is realistic, and don't promise things that you can't deliver, because this can go from Seven of Wands to Seven of Swords, where they come back and think, well, I thought you were going to do it. And you were like, well, I was trying to do you a favor, and it gets escalated. So instead of getting defensive or worrying, from the very beginning, state what's possible. And if they continue to push, you push back and say, I'm so sorry, I really can't do that. I can't help you, or this isn't realistic. I think we might need to talk to someone else, or I might need, you can just escalate it if you need to, all right? You don't have to accept more than is necessary or is realistic. And as you start to have firmer boundaries in your life, people aren't going to push as much or kind of like put as much on your back as they have been in the past. But this is a chance to sort of create and foster this new sense of strength and boundaries, and you're going to be happy that you did it. You can finish just about everything that you want to, but there is a need to sort of have better balance in your life, and that's why that's coming through. And as we look at the near future, we have a really great card here, the Three of Pentacles. This typically represents recognition. We can even see the people keeping an eye on what he's doing, noticing that there is skill, that there is passion, that there is knowledge there. The card is in reverse because sometimes we don't get all of that immediately. You have to just sort of follow through on things that feel right for you. Sometimes the recognition happens days, weeks, months, years after it should, but it still happens, and we shouldn't be doing it solely for the recognition. The other thing here is just a nudge from the universe to finish what you've started. So for those of you that might be getting a certification or going back to school or working on a project and you're just very, very close to that final, output, it's saying, let's get it done this month. So maybe some of you are one semester away from finishing something, one page away from finishing something, or one step. This is your chance to say, you know what? I'm going to stay accountable. I said I was going to do it. I'm going to do it. And this could be something really exciting for you, because then you can let go of this and something new comes in, something that is going to be worth your time and energy. Okay? Let me see if there's anything else here. One last thing with the Three of Pentacles in reverse. If you are a student, and I know I have some students out there watching, this can be a decision to change major or change direction. For those of you mid-career or retired, it's doing something you haven't done before. Even if you were trained in one way, a lot of times you can repackage your skills and approach an opportunity or your life or something in a completely different way, and you don't have to keep doing the same old, same old. As we take a look at you this month, you're coming through with the energy of rebirth. You are not stuck in the past. You don't have to repeat the old cycle. This is a chance and a challenge, in fact, from the universe to not do the same old, same old. I talked about being able to accomplish something that you set out as a child. This is the inner child, this is the adult here coming through. And again, here's the inner child saying, let's do it this time. Come on, you can do it. I like that we have most of the same features of this card. You'll notice that there's an angel, a horn. It's actually even a little baby here at the front. All the souls are rising up, basically like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Here we just chose to have that baby. There's only like 3 baby cards in tarot typically. 2 really in the traditional deck. It would be like the Fool because it's 0, it's the beginning. The Sun, we can imagine also that the Empress, you can infer that there's a baby in that. But here now we have another one, and it's saying just before you're ready to move into something big, it is that feeling of being born, because you have to let go of something. So just to remind yourself where judgment falls, it's 20. The world is 21. So before you step through the gates of expansion, which is the world, there's often a shedding of a skin and saying, all right, I'm no longer going to do this, I'm going to do this. And so it's a death of sorts, but a much more sort of subtle and minor one. And in fact, it's usually more exciting. Just like the day you're getting married, you put the ring on, it's sort of the end of the single life, the beginning of marriage. If you're stepping into leadership, if you're moving out on your own, if you're moving in with someone, whatever it is, there's always that feeling of the old chapter is done, but I'm so looking forward to what this new chapter may bring. Okay? So let's stay on that optimistic side and start to imagine what possibilities you'd like to unlock. And remember, if we take it back to the beginning, strategically speaking, what's the next 2 or 3 steps that are coming through? Second chances are a part of this. This could also mean second chances at mending the way with somebody from this lifetime, perhaps as well. So someone from your past, a friend, a family member, etc. What's coming through in the environment? Opportunities knocking. We have the Knight of Pentacles. This is showing movement in the area of career, of resources, of personal development. It's saying that because you chose to finish what you started, then even more opportunities coming through. And that, to tie it all together, is why we really need to get the emotional component ready. You need to be emotionally ready, you need to be environmentally ready, because once this knight comes galloping in, you want to be able to capitalize on that movement and on that opportunity. This could be, love, Prince Charming coming in, but it could also be you just manifesting what you need. You know that I don't read cards from the place simply of love. I look at it holistically. So this could be new love, new job, a new living situation, or just abundance overall. I really like to see something like a resource galloping toward you, okay? Continue to do all of the work that you've done here. Continue to be comfortable with the change and ambiguity, because from what I see, it's actually quite positive. Looking at hopes, fears, and opportunities, we have a little bit of a repeat happening here. Again, it could be someone offering you something. We have the King of Cups and the Ace of Cups, both reversed. Remember this, you only have to say yes when and if you're ready. If something isn't good enough, you can say no. No thank you if you want to be polite, but you can just say no. I think that the most important thing this month is focusing on your mental and emotional well-being. Once that is in a good space, it may be easier to embrace new people and new opportunities, but until it is, it might be difficult to see something for what it is. Remember, you don't have to make an important decision immediately. Get the rest, get the clarity that you need before rushing into something, because you really want to make sure that the promises that you make are the ones that you can keep in the long run, okay? There could be just simply unexpected good news. Ace of Cups in reverse could be someone saying, paying you a compliment, and it just takes you off guard. in that case, I would encourage you to sort of be open and say, thank you. I appreciate that. I worked hard for that. And it's great working with you too, or whatever it is. You don't have to return a compliment out of obligation either. You can just say, thank you, that made my day. Be authentic, be real. That's going to be important. And remember what we said earlier, be open to a different way of thinking about things. Maybe in the past, you didn't get that sort of sense of validation, and validation's coming in now. Accept it, okay? Last thing with Ace of Cups in reverse is creativity. I mentioned this in one of my daily reads, and people enjoyed it. You don't have to put love and passion into a relationship. You can use that energy to create. So maybe you want to start a new business, or create something artistic, or work on yourself. There's a lot of passion this month that I'm picking up on. Channel it, put it into something that matters for you, and that's going to also give you that sense of foundation and self-fulfillment. The most important relationship is the one that you have with yourself. And if you're happy with what you're doing and you find an outlet for that passion, more power to you. All right, in the outcome, we have the Princess of Cups, a Page of Cups. Since this card was reversed, just like the King and just like the Ace, there could be a lot of emotions. There could be a head over heels sort of relationship, or there could be something where it feels overwhelming. And that's okay. As we said earlier, there's so many ways that you can deal with that. It could be reaching out to your friends or your family, or to a support network in your life, or to a therapist or a professional as well. However you want to channel or communicate how you're feeling, that's going to be so important, because all of the other cards here we see are about growth and development. Three of Pentacles, Rebirth, Knight of Pentacles, even this Seven of Wands, juggling a lot of things. This is a time to really get your life organized, let the dust settle, and build a firmer foundation so that you can continue to embrace the opportunities that are knocking. Let's move on to the expanded forecast, where we'll dig a little deeper into the areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with health and well-being. As we take a look at the message here, it says relationships are assignments. They can be when you're looking at karmic relationships. And since we got the Death card and also the Rebirth or Judgment card, many of you are walking through a moment in your life where you're meeting someone from the past. It's either your deep past in this lifetime or a previous lifetime. And what I like to remind people when they say something like, I can't wait to find my soulmate, or I wish I could find my soulmate, or they put all of the energy in finding that. All a soulmate is someone that has karma. And all karma is past experience that may need to be resolved. So there could be debt, there could be situations where you didn't get a chance to resolve something. Sometimes it's really positive and you just can't wait to meet again. But you never know what you're going to open up when you meet that sort of partner that's karmic in nature. And this month, though, since you're watching, we can kind of discern what that is, and it's emotions, heavy emotions. Karmically, the lesson that your partner is teaching you is you can't fix them emotionally, and there comes a point where you might have to push back and say, this is something where I feel like you would benefit by talking to someone else, or I'm out of my comfort zone with this. You don't have to take on more than you need to. So this could be someone where there's issues of codependency. Maybe they have other issues like addiction, or they're just dealing with so much that it kind of overwhelms you to deal with it. So karmically, you get to say no. You get to push back. You get to empower them to help themselves. And by being strong and letting them be strong, if it's meant to work out this time, you're both going to do the work on yourselves respectively. Then you can come back together, and it's not about playing out possibly even a parental role. So sometimes the karma could be of sibling or parental nature, because this is sibling and this is parents, and this is also parents looking at their children. So you don't have to be the mom or dad figure for them, or vice versa. You don't have to be taken care of. So that's what you're proving to yourself karmically. We got a little bit of love in here, but that's okay. It comes out when it needs to come out. And this is also just showing you how strong you are. You may not have had a chance for anyone else to say you can do this, but you're getting it from me. You can do this. And I really feel confident and optimistic in what this month has in store for you. Let's take the relationship piece out for a second and just look at other health messages. It might be time to move. This can represent chaotic living situations. It can also say it's time to do some preventative repairs, like fix the roof, for instance. Maybe you have a messy office or home or environment and it's saying just clear out some of that stuff because it makes it harder to focus and concentrate when there's a lot of stuff. So clearing and cleaning, focusing on clearing and cleaning the emotions with people around you as well. It's also just a reminder that as one thing changes, there's something better on the horizon. So just comfort with ambiguity. Again, a little bit of an emotional message there. And then if you want to work on something, you'll see movement this month. We see the beginning phases here and then really quickly moving to completion and return on that investment. Okay? The only thing that keeps coming through with all of these cards reversed in cups is how to deal with things emotionally or how to kind of like find the sunny side of things, okay? So that will happen when you talk to others, when you look at it from a different angle, and when also you clear out your schedule a little bit. That's it. If you are focusing on improving your health, sometimes we go from 0 to 100 real fast. And this is saying don't do something too quickly when it comes to a change in diet or exercise because it can create instability in the body. So if you change your diet radically, your energy could go into a weird swing. Your body may not be able to deal with it. If you're lifting weights too much, too fast, too heavy, you could pull a muscle, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Let's move on. Standard disclaimers apply, by the way, on all of these. I'm not a substitute for an expert. I'm looking at energy, but feel free to reach out to a professional if you're going through any of these things. Let's go ahead now and take a look at wealth, resources, life, purpose, and career. I'm excited in this area because we have here the guardian angel card here. You're not alone. We see partnership here in the Six of Cups. We see recognition, maybe a little bit delayed, but nonetheless coming in the Three of Pentacles here. We see someone else coming in and recognizing you. We see opportunities presenting themselves. There's a lot coming through. You just have to be ready for it. Not only that, but if we go back to the Judgment card, we have an angel. Now we have an angel wing here. You're being guided into the right direction when it comes to career. If it's not where you're at, it's where you're headed next, okay? And that's what we see here as well. Another door is opening for you. Be ready to step through it. Don't see one end as the only sort of thing that you can do. It's simply one little point on a continuum that never stops, right? So you're just going through steps to get you to the next place. Again, I think being strategic is going to be more important now than ever. Some of you have decided to go back to school to finish something up. I like that. I think that's important. Maybe you're putting increased focus on family. We're not even in relationships yet, but it does affect career. So maybe you're deciding to take a step back so you can start a family. Maybe some of you have finally raised children and you're deciding to go back to work or to school. That's also coming through with this. And for those of you that maybe had an interruption in your life somehow, helping a parent, focusing on something else, this is a time for you to focus on yourself and to see some development and some movement pretty quickly. You're not alone. Ask for help. Get the advice. Get the support that you need. I also see a lot of people that want to come in, but there's a question, are you ready for that next step, that next person, that next thing? Until you are, it's going to be difficult to make the connection. So one of the things that you can put in your mantra this month is, I'm ready to receive love, abundance, and opportunity in the highest forms because I see all of that happening. All right. Speaking of love, let's take a look and see what's coming through in that part of your life. We have Sacred Vision, the Miriam here. It says, choose to forgive in order to heal. See the light in all. Remember that love has no boundaries. Let's look at the card really closely here. This almost comes through with twin sort of energy, sibling kind of energy. For some of you, again, it could be actually parent and child healing. If you're feeling the sense that it's been difficult to connect with one another, there's a chance to heal that. I mentioned sibling. There's the ability for you to reconnect or at least make peace or amends with things. Some of you, like me, may have family that's on the other side. So for those of you that have lost and loved and lost, the Death card reminds you that it's a new beginning for you, it's a new beginning for them, and it can be a clean one. You can clear out any of the sadness, the anger, the frustration that you have there and talk to them and let them know that you still think of them, but you're ready to move on and you want them to do the same. There's a chance for communication, maybe even mediumship for some of you that want to reach across and make a connection, okay? Let's now focus on the three different elements that I look at here in relationships. If you're in love, if you're single and you're looking for love, or if you're happily single. We'll look at all of those. First things first, those in a loving relationship. We mentioned already there's karma coming through. You're not your partner's mother or father, nor are they yours. So we're going to get out of that parent and child or teacher and student relationship and go more on sort of seeing each other as equals, right? And we get a little bit of that with the Miriam here. You are on an even playing field, and that's really important and powerful. There is also kind of like this moment of go big or move on, go big or go home. We have the Death card and the Rebirth card. So there may have been something really, really challenging that you've both dealt with. You're either going to lean into that and this relationship is going to grow, or you're going to say we've accomplished what we set out to. It might be time to move in a different direction. If you lean into it and you grow, it really is going to grow with leaps and bounds. So you learn a lot, you do the work, we see that it's worth the investment, then there's a lot of love that's coming through, but there's still an emotional component here where it feels like both of you are feeling a lot and dealing with a lot, and it could just be dealing with change this month. The one thing that's missing from this is communication. I always mention that that's the key here, but one of you might have to lead the path or open the door to talk or to explore something new. You might have to be the initiator for change this month. And if you do that, I do feel like there's receptivity on the other partner's part. The one thing that I see here when we're looking at this is one person's very practical and pragmatic. One person's really sensitive. And so being able to navigate that with compassion could be a challenge. All right. If you're looking for love, don't force things. Also, in existing relationships, don't pressure the other partner. But particularly if you're looking for love, Seven of Wands means putting too much energy and effort into trying to make something work. It will or it won't, and that's that. It should be organic. And I think the most important thing you can do here is to kind of let the cards fall as they will when it comes to love. Can you find it? Yes. But something has to shift first. It also feels like you need to finish something, a task at hand. Most of your energy is going into work, finances, or personal development right now. Once that settles, then if you just happen to look around, new love could be coming in unexpectedly or when you least want or expect it as well. So we have the Princess of Cups here, a water sign coming in. I think the only thing that I'd like to caution here is whomever you might be calling in right now, they need a little bit more than you might be ready or willing to give. So be patient, okay? Be patient with yourself. And if you're not ready for that, also just be honest. If you're happily single, I think it might be the best sort of sector to be in right now because so many doors are opening and availing themselves to you. So much energy is coming through in the area of personal development and resources that it's a really exciting time for you. Take it slow, take it easy. Don't agree to too much, one step at a time. But I see a lot of personal growth coming through and a chance to reinvent yourself. And that doesn't happen all of the time. So there you go. Those are the messages for relationships this month. Let's step into the energy of destiny. And we have the camel here, which is a really auspicious symbol to come through because it's an animal that can really thrive in an environment that not everything can. We see camels in the desert. They're able to store up water, take care of themselves, and exist where others can't. So I'm seeing you being very hardy, being very able to push through a situation and basically show yourself strength that you didn't think you had, and maybe other people as well. That extra store of water, fat, and resources that the camel's keeping to itself is also a reminder not to spend too much, to be conservative when it comes to your money, your budget, and to have a contingency plan. That's going to allow you to embrace an opportunity in the future because you have a little extra money to put in that direction. So save for a rainy day. It will pay off in the long run. Let's go ahead now and take a look at sun, rising, and moon messages and see what's in store. Sun, rising, and moon. Aquarius sun, you have the Knight of Wands in reverse here. It's called the Prince, but basically it's saying it's okay to change your mind. It's advantageous to hit the pause button, really to make sure that you're connecting with that strategic approach, which we talked about in the channeled messages. This is also a card saying, welcome in that consideration, those new points of view. This is going to be an important time to evaluate everything that's in front of you. It is not about how quickly you get something done. It's really about doing it right the first time. So slow, steady, making sure that you have focus, making sure that you know what's out there. This is going to be the key to success. For Rising and Ascendant, we have the Three of Cups. It did come through in the reverse state. It's nonetheless a very positive card. For many of you, it's saying take some time and enjoy, celebrate life's little victories. Sometimes we get so focused on a big accomplishment that we forget to look at the little things each and every day. I've made this much progress. I got through that. Celebrate those little victories as much as you would the milestones. The card in reverse can say that you're a little fatigued. Some of you might be, maybe you've been hanging out with friends a little bit too much. You've been burning the candle at both ends. So it's saying it's okay to spend a night or two in and just relax, recalibrate. There is an encouragement here, however, that you might be an unlikely social butterfly. So if you're typically very much the hermit type and you keep to yourself, and out of the blue there's an important invitation and you think to yourself, I'd rather just stay at home, at least make a show, because you could meet someone that could open a door for you. It may not be immediately that person, but they could introduce you to a friend or a friend of a friend. And this is the beginning of some sort of a synchronicity. You might also just really hit it off with a new friend or colleague at a party or event, so go there. You'll find a way to kind of warm up once you get there, especially if you typically don't hang out and socialize. This is encouraging you to get out of your shell a little bit and see what doors might open if you do this. Again, looking at the cards here, we can see that this is a month where you really want to explore those new openings in your life, okay? Aquarius Moon, you have a really favorable card here. The Knight of Swords, Prince of Swords in this deck. This is making up for lost time. This is movement. This is accomplishing things. It's a great card for communication. It also represents you. We haven't seen a lot of swords cards. In fact, I think this is the only one. So if you are Aquarius Moon, this is a month where things are going in a nice direction here. In fact, one of the challenges will be in keeping up the pace. And we mentioned earlier that the only thing that could be holding you back, especially as we looked at the deep past, could be emotions, just feeling a little bit anxious or a little bit nervous. So this is a time to really make sure that that part of your life is sorted out so that you can advance forward and take advantage of all of the great things that are coming forth, especially in the realm of business, since you did get the Knight of Pentacles coming through as well. So this is a great month overall for you. Again, it's just about pacing and communication. If there's something you need or want, speak up. If there's something that's unreasonable, push back. The word no is amazing at really kind of just making things stop if they need to, or freeing you up to do what you need to as well. All right? That, my friends, is the Sun, Rising, and Moon portion. Let's go ahead now and move on to the final question and the final card. Here's how this works. Every month I do my best to help you navigate everything in front of you, and you can see all of the cards that we've gone through so far. I'm sure each of you has at least one more question that I haven't yet answered, so focus on one in this moment in time, and I'll give the cards a shuffle, and we'll see what's coming through. So for the final question, the answer in the form of the card is the Devil reversed. If we're going to get the Devil, it would be best to get the card in the reverse state, because what it represents reversed is finally freeing yourself up. From what, you might ask? From limiting thoughts, limiting ideas, from relationships that might be codependent or may be conditional. In other words, I'll only love you if you do this. Why can't you be more like that? Etc., etc. So you're starting to see through the facades. You're starting to speak up and push back on anybody that might come forth with that. And when it comes to contracts in particular, you're not going to accept anything less than fair. And in fact, you should be advocating for a little bit more. Make sure that you're being taken care of. So if you asked me a yes, no, the Devil reverse is showing me there's still some work to be done. It's a not yet. It's ask more questions, dig deeper. And maybe just look and see if there isn't a better match, okay? There needs to be a little bit of time and healing as well. Some of you are going through major changes, as we see with the Death and Rebirth cards. And it takes a while for all of that to settle in. So don't rush it. Some of you are in the throes of cleaning up and rebuilding and recreating. So this is basically saying slow and steady. And don't basically feel like you're going to repeat old patterns, because you're not. The card came through in the reverse. You can see this sort of energy a mile away, and you're going to say, no, thank you. Okay? So focus on honesty, transparency, unconditional love. And when it comes to contracts, making sure that things are fair, that you follow through on your promises and others do the same. That's how we can take that sort of devil energy and say, no, thank you. All right, everybody, that brings this reading to a close. I hope you enjoyed what I presented here. If you did, you can help out by hitting the thumbs up. It allows me basically to know that this is cool content. It also helps YouTube send this to other people who might like it as well. You can also subscribe and opt into as many or few notifications as you'd like. It's all optional. Likewise, if you follow me on social media, I always post reminders or recaps, so it's a great way to make sure that nothing gets past you when I post something new here on YouTube. By the way, it's always my name, @Ashbaugh, and I never offer private readings or use direct messages, so if you ever run across someone on social media that is doing that, they're an imposter. You can always go to my website to make sure that you're following the official channels. Thank you so much to everybody that wants to show some support. You can do that with super stickers, super chat, or memberships, or just, again, like liking and subscribing. And at the end of the day, I just want to say thank you. One last thing, my new videos come out every Monday, Thursday, and Friday, and then I do live streams on the weekend every Sunday, and you can also see my one card dailies. Take care, everybody, and thank you for spending some time on yourself, basically, and being the best version of you. That makes my day, and I'm so happy I could be a part of that. Sending you lots of love, lots of light, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.